After traveling so many years in this lifestyle that I have, such a weird to a lot of people traveling in your car, living such a uncomfortable, quote unquote, uncomfortable life. There are so many things that I've inhabited that I can never look back. I can never, I mean, at this point, they are ingrained in me. They are who I am. And this trip has done that to me, or traveling this way has done that to me. So the question today is, what are some things that I have inhabited and I can never look back? Let's get into it. I hope you guys like that intro. Oh my God. I'm a professional. All right, thank you guys for coming back to the channel. Today we have a Q&A session. And so as I stated, the Q&A session today is about things that are so mean right now, so me. They're me that I honestly can never look back and see these things in another way, in another light. Also, peep my shirt, guys. I got this shirt here in Argentina. It's a quote unquote vintage style. It's not a vintage shirt, but it's a vintage style. And I wanted this color because it's like a dark. It's like a dark. How am I gonna say this? A dark, like bright blue, like a dark neon-ish blue. If I'm gonna, how am I gonna phrase it? And it's got like the Argentina little colors here with the 86, as I said, vintage style. I didn't really opt for that like white and like that light bright blue and white, just because I like wearing darker colors. And honestly, those shirts, like the typical Argentina white and blue shirts, um, I don't know, white shirts make me nervous. I feel like they stain quickly. And yeah, I do tend to stain my clothes. It's a habit, and yeah, let's just let's just skip past over that right now. But but yeah, so let's go ahead and so the way that I'm going to start this is that I have a couple of topics, or I guess um, a couple of angles that I'm going to explore that pertain to this question. Okay. So, one of the first things that, I mean, it is, I can't get rid of it at this point, and even when it's unnecessary, I can't get rid of it, is the fact of looking over my shoulder. Now, as a woman, before starting this trip, I guess I was kind of oblivious, and I guess naive, in the sense of like who's watching me. And I've always been like that. I swear to God, I have. And even to the point where my mom was like, "Did you see that person look at you, or whatever the fuck?" And I was like, "Nah, like I'm not looking at other people. Like the fuck." Like I legitimately was like that. I literally did not give a fuck about who was staring at me or whatever the heck, because I was like, as long as they don't touch me or come towards me, we're good. But now with this whole trip thing and me going out into the world by myself, and facing new experiences, I really had no choice. And and thankfully, I mean, safety again, a little bit of a taste of what we spoke about in the last Q&A session. Safety is such a big thing, and this is looking over your shoulder is a big thing topic to talk about, because once it becomes you can never get rid of it. Even at points where, I mean, let's just say even if it's the daytime, like I cannot stop myself from taking a look at my surroundings. I think that is really what it is. uh, and at the end of the day, am I ever really feeling completely safe? Um, that's a good question. I think I honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think I can ever feel 100% safe ever again, especially being alone. I guess when I'm more when I am alone. And because of this lifestyle that I've chosen, this nomadic lifestyle, it is a very much solo trip, solo lifestyle. Um, And so, I mean, I'd rather have just nipped it in the bud and it become me than having to say, no, I'd rather live my life blissfully and not caring. And that's just not safe. That's just not safe. But yeah, I guess I did lose a little bit. Um, I mean, I had such an innocence, you know, such a nice innocence, and I can't go back to the innocence anymore. I've had men approach me in my travels. I literally had no intention of speaking to anybody, especially on that last episode I did on Sophia the Road. I talked about this. I didn't go into detail, and maybe I'll go a little bit more into it now. But when I was in Winnipeg, which we are right now, the last episode, we are in Winnipeg. Near the end of my trip, as I stated, I did stay in that location for quite some time. And I legitimately did not make any relations with anybody. Okay. I was very well made aware of that it was one of the places, the most quote unquote dangerous places in Canada. And so I came with the intention of not making friends. I was like, I'm gonna be by myself, you know? But because there was one weekend near the end of my stay at Winnipeg, that I ended up taking a shower, and I washed my clothes at the Flying J, the area that I was sleeping at, and ended up working on my computer because I was waiting for my clothes to dry or wash, whatever the fuck. And this very kind man started talking to me. Like we started, I whenever it comes to me to what I'm doing, whatever the heck those specifics, I do end up lying. Okay, and it makes me uncomfortable, but I do it because out of safety. And I already have my planned speech already made. Already made. Um, I feel like I always have that too. Fuck. I think it's part of that too. The looking over your shoulder shit. Like you gotta be prepared. But I had this really nice man talk to me, whatever the fuck, and super nice, not weird at all, not creepy at all. And but as we're getting to the end of our conversation, or my stay there, because my clothes were about to be finished, his friend came to see him because I was at the lounge at the where mostly the truckers are at, the truck drivers are at, and his friend came to see him, and this guy creeped me out. He introduced me, and he was asking me the same fucking questions, what I'm doing, what the fuck, which is normal as normal. And but this guy creeped me out, so I was like, okay, see you later, whatever. And so the following week, I don't know, probably not the following week, but a couple of weeks after that, I told myself, and I was feeling that it was my last week there, my last week in Winnipeg. I was like, I'm ready to move on, ready to move forward. And I ended up washing my clothes the one last time, and I also took a shower. I did the same fucking thing. Funny enough, and there was nobody. There was nobody in the lounge. I don't know what the fuck it was. And so I was sitting again at my computer on the lounge, waiting for my clothes to dry, whatever the fuck. And this creepy guy came in again. This creepy guy came in. And and I just finished taking a shower. And my clothes were already in the dryer and shit. And so I was walking to the lounge, sitting back on the computer, because I take my stuff with me and then I take it to the lounge. And he was there, and I said, "Oh, hey, I just hate," and that's it. And I clearly put my headphones on to make it clear. That I was working. As I said, I don't want to be rude, but I'm working right now, so I have to do some stuff. He's like, "Oh no, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry." I was like, "Okay, cool." And fuck, I'm going into this conversation way too deep. And so I'm sitting there, and my hair's wet, of course, because I just took a shower because I couldn't dry it. There was no dryer, or not that I even use it anyways. And he legitimately gets up because he was sitting on the couches, and I was sitting on the chairs, the tables, on the other side of this lounge. And the dude comes up to me, and he goes like, first of all, I couldn't hear him because I clearly had my headphones in. And I said, sorry, what? And he goes like, since you came in here, I can't stop smelling you. And I was like, oh, yeah, I just take a shower. And then he starts trying to create conversation. So what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm kind of working. And he goes like, but what are you doing after work? And I said, I gotta get to sleep and wake up early for the next day of work. And he goes like, nah, come on, what are you doing later? Let's get sexy. Let's get sexy later. Ah, okay. And I said, I literally took my other headphone on and I was like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, let's get sexy later. Let's go have some fun, you know? Let's go to a bar and I was like, mind you, this guy is like reaching his 60s. For sure 60s something. I don't fucking know. And I legitimately was like covered up. I swear to God, I was with a big ass jacket. I mean, not to say that what I was wearing um implies anything, okay? Because I made it very clear that I was busy and my headphones were in, okay? But I'm just saying, just to paint you the picture, I was not dressed in alluring or anything, you know what I'm saying? And this is what you say. Uh-huh. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, I gotta work. And I mean, the second I could have I get out of there, I got out of there. I think I took my stuff and I sat beside or I stood beside the dryer because I was like, bitch, I'm waiting for you to dry. Hurry the fuck up. I felt uncomfortable as fuck. Um, so I literally like finished my clothes. I finished that and I really told myself another sign that I have to leave because you get those inklings, you know, you get those like energy, you get that little instinct saying to you, I think it's time to go. And that was literally the cherry on top. I was like, oh, I really gotta go. I mean, he started asking more questions there and I just started lying more and I was like, okay, well, I like I said, bro, I gotta get back to work. Like, thank God, which is a complete lie. I was not working. And if you're the guy watching, you're a fucking creep. I And the funny thing is too, this is something else. Fuck. The funny thing is too that I told this story to people and people were like, did you tell him off? Did you da da da? And I was like, no, I didn't. You know why? Because and I know this from experience, because when you start telling a guy off, I mean, yeah, a man. I'm gonna say a man because this has never happened to me with a woman. When you tell a man off, they could get upset to the point where it attracts them even more, you know. People want what they can't have. And so my main worry, honestly, at that point was how am I going to reject this guy softly enough so that he cannot possibly get upset with me, possibly create a scene, possibly get so upset that he ends up following me. So those are my things. So I took that route. And yeah, I left. I think I legitimately left the next day because it was getting dark and it's not good to travel at night. And I felt safer with the cameras around, right? And especially this guy, from what I heard, is lives locally, like he lives there. So the cameras and stuff like that. So I felt safer with the cameras and stuff. Um, but that was a weird ass experience. I remember telling my mom that, and she's like, "¿Qué?" You go, see, mama. You want to get sexy later? Is that really the time? Is that really the way to approach somebody? I am shookity. This grown ass man. Ugh. All right, let's go ahead and take it for my next point. Now, in regards to health, I've had a lot of. I mean, my instances where how am I going to put this? I've always had problems with period cramps. And I mean really bad ones where I literally, I'm like, I'm not mobile. I cannot get off the couch or the bed. I cannot. It becomes so painful. I cannot think of anything else. to the point where like sometimes medication does not work. Yeah. And I've come to realize, especially with this trip, that stress was a big play on this. I faced a lot of difficult years before starting this trip, and when it came to health, it affected my job a lot as well. So that's also your income, you know, a lot of stress adding to that. Um, and those were the times where my cramps hurt the most. I legitimately, that pain was horrendous. Um, and starting this trip, um, taking control of my life, finding peace within myself, finding peace in the situation, even in the hardest of times. Um, Stress and health really became hand in hand at that point because I don't remember. I mean, I literally don't remember the last time I had such bad cramps because I've created this system in myself to not let stress build up, whether it be therapy, whether it be exercise, healthy foods, um, things that make you feel good, but also like taking those times to have a breather and coming to yourself and say, you know what, I don't feel good right now. What can I do to make myself feel better? Uh, and so those days really became such a pivotal moment of like, my life is in my hands, my health is in my hands. And I also uh, really took care of myself a lot more in because again, when you're traveling in your car, you don't have a lot. I mean, in my instance, anyways, I don't have a fridge. I didn't have a fridge, and so I had to go to the grocery store quite often. And so I think it helped me also eat healthier. I don't have a freezer because I mean, wherever, if I have a home and a fridge, I'm gonna be stocking up my fridge with like chicken nuggets, and, like frozen ready meals. You know, those days that I don't want to cook. Um, and so when it came to like traveling in my car, I had to like figure out new systems, and so it was nicer for me because I didn't want to spend that much money on like I don't like going out to eat or ordering food unless it's the weekends. I like to like save those things for myself. And also when it comes to like eating sugar, right? I'm not perfect, obviously, but those are my intentions, at least when I start the week. And so when I was in the middle of the week, especially traveling, and I didn't feel like cooking or making food or making like one of my typical like cold meals or warm meals, like lukewarm meals, like a salad or something. Um, Not a salad, but like a wrap or something. I would find other options. So I would go to Walmart or a grocery store, and I would find those ready-made salads. And I love that shit. Oh my God. Like I ended up finding things that I really liked, or I ended up making like salads that were like a little bit more out of my comfort zone. So I'm rambling. But health became such a big thing to me, and I felt so good on this trip, and I wanted to continue feeling good. And ever since I started doing that, my life has completely changed in the way that I see health in that way. So, uh, again, stress and inner peace played a huge role, and I never realized how deep of a cut that could be. But I realize it so much more now. And honestly, again, I don't remember the last time I had really bad cramps, and it was just, and I haven't like what a life changer. Honestly, I'm somebody else. Another thing that I take into account with this topic, again, reminding what small things I've inhabited that I can never look back, is the sense of gratitude. Oh my God, the sense of gratitude. I kid you not. When I came home after the first 6 months of travel, the fact that I had accessible running water. Oh my God, the fact that I had an accessible toilet. But the running water really was the killer. Like that one, the running water, the fact that like I can wash my dishes. the fact that I can drink water from the sink. Oh my God. I remember coming back and I was like, what luxury I am living in. Like, I've lived in my whole life. What a luxury, you know? Especially, as I mentioned before, in Winnipeg, it was the first cities where I was like really seeing people of like my quote unquote community, my nomad lifestyle, whether it became, and to be honest, it was kind of apparent, um, no tea, no shade, but it was kind of apparent of those who decided the lifestyle and those who were kind of pushed into it, you know? And so seeing that, you know, and thankfully I am one of those who decided this lifestyle, who chose it. But seeing that and coming home and having a bed and I can stretch my feet. Oh my God, that too. That too. The fact that I can stretch my feet. Of course, hopefully I can change that in the future and get a nicer a van, you know, where I can actually stretch my feet. But in this instant, I was in the car. Every night I was sleeping with my legs. Thankfully, I'm not that tall. With my legs bended, you know, because I would not be able to stretch my feet. I couldn't. Like it's just not possible. And I'm someone who sleeps like like I am like diving in. My hands are up, my legs are stretched. I am like that, like legitimately. And the fact that I couldn't do that for 6 months, really made me appreciate my bed. Oh my God, my bed. And again, that running water. That running water, I kid you not. The fact that like I can now I can like eat and I can wash my dishes and they're clean. Because before in the car, you'd either have like a spray with some soap and then you get a wipe, or like you had like a bottle of water and you like run over the water that you have, and you have to think about, am I thirsty? Am I gonna drink this water? Should I clean this later so I can drink this water now? Or do I have enough so I can clean this now and then it'd be good and then maybe not smelly? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have to think about those things. Oh my God. They're like literally luxury, living in luxury. People who like me right now in an apartment with a kitchen where I can cook something hot in the moment, not think about the amount of electricity that I'm using, not thinking about my battery, how much battery I have left, not thinking about am I gonna have enough water for tomorrow, like you know what I mean. And so when you get home or to a place like that, you're like, wow, I am living like a queen. I've been living like a queen since I was born. So those ideas of gratitude, I think, oh my God, it's just so beautiful. I wish, honestly, because of this idea of gratitude that I have now, I feel like everyone should spend at least 6 months, at least once in their life, without like these amenities, these commodities that we are so accustomed to. And like, especially me from North America, and even a bit from North America too, but even Central America also has. I mean, everywhere has some places where there's no like quote unquote running water. You know what I mean? There are places that are like that, and to think that people live like that and are happy to live like that, or are living like that. You know what I mean? And people think like, oh my God, how do they do that? How do they do that? And it's another thing to think about. I think it's yeah, I think it's just beautiful, honestly. My other idea, my other angle on this is home. Now, this one, this one's a grande for me because honestly, because of the way that I'm living, because of being so far away to my immediate close family, of course, you do tend to get homesick. And I have been able to visually see the reactions or the results of being far away from your family because of my parents. My parents moved to Canada when they were my age, funny enough, when they were my age, and they left it all. They legitimately moved there and they left their families, their siblings, their friends, their lifestyles, their language, legitimately to some degree. Um, and so it was also hard for me as, I mean, also hard for me and my siblings because we didn't have that like, oh, I'm gonna go see my cousin on the weekend, or I'm gonna go see my grandma on the weekend and have dinner, or like, you know what I mean? Like we didn't have that. And also like that interest of like our lineage, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, an example of like, for example, I love art and going to art museums. My aunt, who lives in Argentina, also loves that too, but I can't communicate with her or experience that with her because I'm not with her. You know what I mean? Or I didn't know to what extent. What type of art does she like? You know what I mean? Like, so you get to like know yourself more. So there's a lot of like kind of like empty, blurry spots in your life when you're not close to family like that, because you always end up wondering. You know what I mean? And so because I saw that, I think I try to find home and in other things, and and it took me a while to realize that. I mean, especially starting with this trip, that I am home. This trip has made me become my own best friend. This trip um, has made me so much more careful of my person. You know, uh, yeah, and honestly, I think when you're in a place where you feel loved, where you feel taken care of, where you feel safe in a way, um, I've made that in me. So the fact that I was able to make my car a home, the fact that I'm able to make this apartment my home, the fact that I'm able to make home in my parents' house or home in my brother's house, no matter how long it is, I make that my home because I'm in it, you know? Um, and so I think that is really important as a female as well. I have touched base on the last Q&A, the pressures that women feel to stay attached to someone or something for safety. Um, so yeah, I think that's something that this traveling has really made me come into impact with that. Um, because I mean, like honestly, no one's gonna take care of me better than me. No one's gonna know me better than me. No one's gonna know what I like or what I don't like or what makes me feel good, doesn't make me feel good more than me, you know? So yeah, I think hopefully I made myself a little bit clear with that. But yeah. The next angle is relationships. With relationships, it's, I mean, again, a little bit touching base on the home. How am I going to say this in a nice way? um, my both my parents have maintained relationships with family in Argentina differently. My dad was very active. My dad would be calling his friends, calling his siblings, um, nieces and nephews, whatever the fuck. He'd be very active on it. The other side, not so much. And so when I asked him about this, because to me, I'm like, yo, it's a two-way street. Like you can't just be calling. Like I mean, to me, in my own opinion. And he goes like, but I was the one who left. I was the one who made the decision to leave them. So it's my duty to reach out to them. And I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know about that. And I mean, I thought I maybe had a more of a concrete answer for this, but to be honest, I'm still battling the idea of relationships and maintaining trust and or continuing not to continue. Um, but I've realized it's an evolving thing. I think that's what I've realized. And feel like this is such a deep one. It's so weird because like through like heartbreaks, separations, things like that, um, I've become, in a sense, I mean, at that time in the beginning of my trip, became quite cold. As I mentioned before, I had no intention of making friends or anything. But when it came on to like the second or third year, I was becoming a little bit more open, and I did end up making friends, which is the funny part. And I used to think that like friends or relationships um, had to actively be watered. That was my idea, anyways. Um, and I'm coming to realize that there are different levels. I'm someone who's very like, and sadly so sometimes, very black and white. Thinking you're with me or you're not. You know what I'm saying? And the idea of relationships has made me kind of like soften up, has made me more open to the idea of different degrees of friendship, relationship wise, with people around me. Um, and I think, I mean, again, I'm still facing that today, but with my trip, like honestly, and with my trip now, like what I'm saying, like it's such an ever evolving thing. Um, and if I also realized that the more closed off you are, the less people you have around you. And so I don't think it's you have the right to complain about not being able to find people or not being able to find or create relationships when you're so closed off, quote unquote picky. You know what I'm saying? It's such a fine line. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep this in here because I don't have a concrete answer for that. But let's move on to the next one. In regards to time, oh my god, time. That is crazy because again, when I first sought out to do this trip, I was like 6 months. 6 months, I'm gonna visit all of Canada and I'm gonna do it in my car and just I'll be right back. You know what I'm saying? And it was no way like that. No way like that. And again, as someone who like in my age, anyways, out at that moment in the beginning of my trip, I was in my um, mid late 20s. I was like, I have to do this all before I'm 30 because I gotta settle down when I'm 30 and then da da da. And here I am, 30. And I'm still going at this, you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm loving it. I swear to God, I'm loving it so much, and I love my life. And again, it was coming to that conclusion of like, who's pressuring you? Who's pressuring you to be going to these places in this time frame to be doing what you think you gotta do? At the end of the day, it was me. So, time, honestly, I feel like I have so much of it. I feel like I have so much of time in a way. I mean, at the end of the day, something can happen. Who knows? But as someone at my age, I feel like I have so much of it. But I feel like there are also like societal expectations, at least from the like my parents' generation, or like buy a house, have kids, have get married, or sorry, the other way around, have married, get kids, and whatever the fuck. And I have not made any of those. And I think it's a lot of like, also not only I haven't had any of those, but also expectations or societal pressures of like, being in a relationship or being single. You know what I mean? So it's just like at the end of the day, I know time is also going with kind of like with expectations, but I mean like what is time? What is time? And It also, being starting this trip too, it also has because my days were so different, it forced me to be in the moment and take care of myself in that moment, but also make decisions that future me will be thankful for. You know what I mean? It's that balance. Um, and again, also, I said it before, I don't plan more than 6 months ahead because life can change in an instant. So be grateful for the moments that you are good and work harder, a little bit more towards, or smarter on those hard days. Because the one thing in this life that is consistent is change. That's the only thing that's consistent in this life. And time creates that change. Okay, what's another one here we can go to? So my next one is loneliness. This was a funny one because I've always been someone who's enjoyed spending time alone. I find peace. As I stated before, I've always tried to find peace within myself. Not always, but like find peace. And and I know a lot of people who would not be able to be alone in this amount of time, like at least six months at a time. Um, and I think it's a skill. Some people are actually really scared to be alone because they're nervous about the silence, their thoughts rambling. You know what I'm saying? And that's valid. But I think that that fear builds up because um, you haven't been able to cut through it. Because once you cut through it, it's so nice. And sometimes it's too nice. It's too nice that you don't want to see anybody else. um, but yeah, I think loneliness is I think it's an idea because sometimes you can be surrounded with a lot of group of people and you still can feel lonely. Sadly as it is. And I don't know, I think the fact of me being alone so much, and I enjoy my presence, and I've created this life for myself, or this mental space for myself where I enjoy being alone. I enjoy being alone. That sometimes it could be uncomfortable to be around a lot of people. Um, but yeah, I don't know where I was going with this. I don't know where I was going with this. Um, I think when it comes to loneliness, I try to, I mean, there are moments that I felt it, to be honest. I really felt it really hard when it was my birthday and I was alone. I was alone in Saskatchewan. My birthday, one of the first my first 6 months of travel. The next other couple years, I made sure I changed that because I was like, at least when I'm my birthday, I want to be with some people. Um, but at least that first birthday, I made me realize I didn't want to be alone my birthday. So it's like that, like little ebb and flow, figuring out what you like and what you don't like. It's always like this consistent like learning curve of uh, what makes me feel alone. What can I do in those moments that I do feel that? Again, it wasn't a lot of times for me, but also I managed that because I didn't stay consistent, or I didn't stay in one place consistently. As I stated before, I do this mostly 6 months out of the time, like out of the year, because you can only be alone so much. But it's funny because at the end of those 6 months, I'm like, I gotta go home. Like I want to go with people, my family, with friends and family. And then 6 months with them, and I'm like, I gotta get back out there. I gotta get back out to my solo trip again. So I don't know. I might seem very sporadic to some people. I might be like very like this girl's flying around everywhere. She doesn't stay anywhere for a long time, and she's gone. She's one day here and gone the next. But I'm like, fuck, bro, I love it. I love it. To be able to make those decisions myself and like selfishly make those decisions myself, I'm like, yes, I chose to live this way. I love it. But yeah, I think loneliness is a battle, but it gets so much easier the more that you put yourself in uncomfortable situations like that. Embrace the silence. That's what I'm gonna say. All right, and the last one I'm gonna mention before I make this too long is the idea of success. Now, that, I mean, living this lifestyle, especially when I lived in the car, you do get those like people viewpoint going like, she live in a car? Like that's why she do that? That's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? And so to me, I don't see it that way. And even though I had those reactions from other people, I didn't give a fuck. And I really try not to give a fuck. Of course, there are some moments where someone really hits you hard and you're like, okay, bitch. Like, you really had to dig there, did ya? Um, but for the most part, I'm like, yo, I don't give a fuck what you think. And my success was finding freedom and happiness. and And honestly, I think at first was probably like, oh, I want to have my belt that I visit all these provinces and that I did that. But like at this point, after these years of doing this traveling and nomad lifestyle, I'm like, yo, I don't give a fuck about adding more countries or to my more provinces or places to my list. What I give a fuck about is that am I enjoying life? Like, am I enjoying waking up, doing what I'm doing? Like I really cannot give a dang about adding this to my list of things that I've done. I honestly don't. And so that idea of success really got washed away with this trip. Um, and I think that's beautiful. I think that's lovely. And I think that again, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations has really has really made me change that mindset. I know a lot of people who are till today, especially this last month in July, have been stressed about money, have been stressed about like the future, and I'm at this point where I'm like, I'm not even stressed about that shit. Sure, am I like super like, quote unquote secure? Um, like 100% secure in whatever the fuck I'm doing? No, I'm not. But I've come to the point of realization where again, kind of honing in on all the things that I've mentioned, especially with the gratitude thing, um, of like, yo, the success that you might think of like having lots of money and finding and being able to buy stuff and that being able to have all those conveniences, and I'm like, that to me is not my goal anymore. Like it really is not. It really isn't. And I'm so grateful with whatever position I'm in life. The fact that I'm living, the fact that I'm breathing, the fact that I woke up today, um, that I really don't even think about those things. Ugh. And the funny thing is that like my mentality has changed, and I'm so grateful for because of that. Um, but it also makes some people uncomfortable. It makes some people uncomfortable, and so because I find myself successful and not in the idea that other people find success, um, it makes people uncomfortable and not able to understand me. I've come to realize because like the funny thing is that like I've risked so many things, and done so many things to get to the point where I am right now, um, that people find it stupid sometimes. They told me to my face. Many people say, how can you risk this and this and this? And I'm like, it's my life. And if this doesn't work out and it's not meant to be the way that it's supposed to be, then another way will come out. Another way will be figured out. Another path will appear. And I have faith in that and I'm in peace with that. So I think that peace, that idea of tranquility in the unknown, to me is success. legitimately. And I think that's beautiful. I keep saying that's beautiful because like honestly, I see these things and I read them over and I'm like, to someone who like looks at this, they're like, ah, basic. Like I mean like that's maybe not looking over your shoulder thing, like that's those are things that I don't know. I feel like people will be feeling uncomfortable making these or coming to these conclusions, you know? And I took the I think the viewpoint of embracing it as much as I can, or dealing with whatever problem was, especially when it comes to loneliness, as I said it before, or the idea of time. I've really embraced. I'm like, yo, what do I if I don't feel good at this moment because of this reason? What can I do to change it? I think this idea of like finding a solution, you know, thinking productively, and not creating bigger problems because I could have spiraled. I legitimately could have spiraled. When I got to Winnipeg, I easily could have been like, how am I going to do this? I'm like, no, 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 I need to go back. I need to go back. I didn't. I could have done that easily. I had people waiting for me. As I stated before, Mama was calling. Mama was telling me when I'm gonna go home. When am I gonna get home? And I said, no, I'm gonna fight this. I'm gonna fight this. And I'm not gonna fight it. I'm gonna take it by the hand and say, listen to me. Listen to me, stress, anxiety. What is it? ¿Qué lo que es? What is it? Tell me, what do you need? It's all good. Like I knew at the end of the day, I have to keep reminding myself, manifestation, it's all good. It's all gonna be good. And yes, I look kind of woo woo and kind of crazy with my incense and my tarot cards and whatever the fuck. Um, but dang. But I'm gonna leave you guys this way. Um, these are my opinions. Let me know in the comments below. If you think the same. Has there been any things that you have done that have changed your life for the better? You know, these epiphanies, realizations, whatever the heck it is, share them down below. I'm super interested. Maybe I can learn something. I hope you learn something from this. Um, at least, I think the biggest takeaway is do the thing that makes you feel uncomfortable. Do the thing. Just head on. Just don't avoid it. Because the longer you avoid it, the more you're gonna keep repeating the same fucking lesson, and that's annoying as fuck. That's really annoying as fuck. But thank you guys so much for joining me in the Philosophia on the Q&A session. Stay tuned for the next episode on Sophia on the Road. And we're still continuing on Winnipeg. So, peace out, homies.